Questions this morning over Texas Congresswoman Granger's condition and whereabouts. The retiring lawmaker's office says she's had unforeseen health challenges, but is denying a report that she's in memory care at a nursing home. Let's bring in Carlos Tercios, writer for the Dallas Express, who actually broke this story. Carlos, good morning. You broke the story on Congresswoman Granger. What do you make of her office now saying she's not in memory care, but has unforeseen health challenges? What does all that mean?
Thank you for having me on, Nick. Congresswoman Granger has not been doing her work for the past several months. She has not been voting since July. And she has left 750,000 people without representation, especially the largest Republican city in the country. And, we visited the facility, and it provides independent living and memory care. But I will say that her son actually reported yesterday to one of the media outlets here locally that she has been dealing with dementia issues. The bottom line is, why didn't she disclose that she was having health issues? She's been having dementia issues, as her son stated at the Dallas Morning News yesterday. She didn't disclose any of this. She left in dark a lot of her voters and constituents, and especially the country, because she was the chairwoman of the House Appropriations Committee. And so it's a transparency issue. Typically, when elected officials are dealing with problems, health problems, and of course, our prayers go to her and her family during this time. But elected officials have a moral obligation to inform their constituents if they are unable to perform their duties. And I will say this, Congressman Tony Gonzalez actually said at a media outlet yesterday that, if a member of Congress can't perform their duties, maybe they shouldn't be in Congress.
And Carlos, you'll remember there was controversy also about Senator Feinstein when there were questions around her mental acuity and whether or not she could perform her duties. I know that as you pursued this story, you actually tried to get a direct quote or a statement from the family. Talk to us about your efforts to track down a comment from both Congresswoman Granger's staff and your visit to the nursing facility itself.
Yes. So the reason why we were wanting to reach out to Congresswoman Granger is because we wanted to know how she was going to vote. We did some research, and we realized that she has not been voting since late July. She did visit Congress this past month in November for a celebratory event. But that even raised even more questions is, she was able to attend that event and take a photo with Speaker Mike Johnson. Why was she unable to vote, and why was she absent this past week? And so we ultimately called her district office and her congressional office in D.C., and it went straight to voicemail, and it said, please leave a voicemail or a comment. So we decided to go to her office, and her office was empty. It was like it was never there. We did talk to a business that worked right next to her office, and they did tell us that they packed up and left mid-November, and the constituents and no one in the public was alerted. We ultimately did get a tip from a resident from her district, and they did tell us that she was living at a senior care facility. And so we decided to check it out. It's the Tradition Senior Care Facility, and they do provide independent living, but also memory care as well. We did go to that facility to confirm if she was living there, and 2 employees did inform us that she was living there indeed. One of the managers did tell us that this is her home, as quoted in the video. And so, it's all about transparency. Why did one of the most powerful people in the country not alert her constituents, taxpayers, especially since she's getting paid until the 3rd of January? Why didn't she alert her constituents that she was going to be unable to perform her duties as a member of Congress? And so ultimately that story was created. Went from, we wanted to know how she was going to vote on the spending bill that was going to, that was being debated in D.C. this past week, to why did she do this? Why wasn't she transparent? It's a huge cover up, and that's why it's blown up in the media. It's blown up, in the internet, because one of the most powerful people in the country was not voting, was absent. And now we know, from her son that she's been having dementia issues when that should have been public knowledge.
Carlos Tercios, I want to congratulate you on your solid reporting there and the efforts you went to try to get this information, put it out publicly for us. We'll continue to follow and ask you for updates as you learn more. Carlos, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick.